Again, we think we'll find potentially a lot of people.
The work was made all the more dreadful by the rain, the more dangerous by the lightning that threatened to strike giant cranes moving tons of rubble.
It's a mess. It's horrible. Everything's so wet and the rain's still coming down. They don't know when it's going to stop.
Timothy McVeigh is the man fellow soldiers in the Persian Gulf War called a subdued loner who wanted but failed to join the special forces. The FBI calls him a primary suspect in the bombing. Agents link McVeigh to James Nichols, an organic farmer in Decker, Michigan, who the FBI says may have possessed large quantities of fertilizer and fuel oil, ingredients investigators think were used in Wednesday's bombing. James Nichols and his brother Terry continue being held as material witnesses.
We consider him to be armed and dangerous.
Still being sought, John Doe number 2, a man spotted with McVeigh in Kansas, where the FBI believes McVeigh rented the truck used to blow up the federal building in Oklahoma City. What happened here has been called terror in the heartland, and while it certainly hit people here the hardest, this was a national tragedy, and President Clinton will be here tomorrow for a national day of mourning. Earlier today, he and the First Lady sought to reassure the children.
When we catch the people who did this, we will make sure that they can never hurt another child again.
Federal authorities want those responsible for the bombing to face the death penalty. Oklahoma's governor would like a crack at using state capital murder charges.
The question is who'll take a swing at that first. Obviously, that's going to be resolved in the future.
The immediate future for suspect Timothy McVeigh is an arraignment in federal court this Thursday. And one late development, the New York Times reports that the FBI suspects McVeigh may be linked to a paramilitary group in Arizona. Agents are in Kingman, Arizona, where apparently 2 months ago, a bomb was exploded in a field, knocking some windows out of nearby homes. Agents are there looking for fragments of the bomb as well as residue to compare it to that which was found here. Reporting from Oklahoma City, Dave Failing, CBS News. Back to you.
The story is far from over.
All right, thank you, Dave Failing. And our own Mike O'Mara is just back from Oklahoma City himself. He spent the last few days there and is joining us live now from the newsroom. Mike, I guess these folks, of course, have been through so much over the past few days. What kind of mood was it when you left earlier today?
Well, David, grim determination best describes it. As tough as it's been for the last 4 days now, the folks in Oklahoma City refuse to give up.
Innocent human beings were savaged and broken, and what occurred here was unforgivable. It was a horrible, uncivilized, beastly thing to do. We are unforgiving and unremitting in our insistence that this act be fully punished.
They're finding body parts and things that are very, very stressful. It's not just moving rubble. There's a lot of carnage in there, and there's a lot of death, and that is emotionally straining on firefighters and rescue personnel.
I would not be here. I'm sure that area is gone.
You're a pretty lucky woman.
Yes, sir, I am. Like I said, I just wanted to let my family know I'm alive. I'm okay.
Some of our people have made it. I think 3 or 4 of them that we know of. One had a bad eye injury, one of the women, and the others still in there.
Back on the sidewalk, please.
Guys, get back on the sidewalk. Do not stay on the ground.
This is very frightening. Even to live near it is very frightening, to hear all the sirens going off and looking out your window and you see all this and not realize that some maniac just wanted to hurt people.
She's got to be in there, and I don't feel like she's gone. I feel in my heart that she's still alive, and I just pray to God that she is.
And there were so many other people like that young man waiting for news of their brothers or sisters or loved ones. Tomorrow, the memorial service, President Clinton will be there, and of course the whole country will mourn along with the men and women of Oklahoma City. Gretchen, back to you.
All right, thank you, Mike. There's been an outpouring of help from thousands of people who want to do whatever they can for the victims of the bombing. But tonight we find out it's not just humans donating their time. Take a look at Lady Bo and her owner, Gary Broberg of Medina County. The pair left Cleveland this morning and are in Oklahoma City tonight to help search through what's left of the bombed-out federal building. Lady Bo is a trained rescue and search dog. She was also called in to help out after the plane crash in Pittsburgh last year. Broberg told us he and Lady Bo have a rough job ahead of them, but they plan to stay in Oklahoma City as long as they are needed.
It's probably the last time you'll see them sitting down for a while.
Probably, and it's nice to see that everyone is helping out in this whole thing.
Yeah, without a doubt. And certainly our hearts are going out to all the folks in Oklahoma City as they try to recover from this horrible tragedy that, of course, ripped apart their lives. Well, tonight, some young ladies from Macedonia are doing their part to help heal the scars the bomb left behind.
And the happiest place on earth, Disneyland, could it have been the target of terrorists? We'll tell you when 19 News at 11 comes right back. Even they can't believe it. Some local kids are showing big results in a campaign to help victims in Oklahoma City. You know, we hear a lot of these days about kids who aren't very good at doing good, but tonight we'd like you to meet some pretty remarkable kids.
Apparently they did this all on their own, too. They live in Macedonia, and as Mike Olszewski now reports, the two girls have inspired an entire city to help the victims in Oklahoma.
10-year-old girls are known for lots of things, like dressing up, being active, and sometimes just being silly. But Christina Canzoni and Scarlett Young are getting noticed for something else these days, and it started with TV coverage of Oklahoma City.
I was watching it, and I saw the building, and I just felt so bad, and I didn't know how anybody could do that. All the blood off children, off their heads, and off their parents' body. It was just terrible.
Christina called Denise, and they decided to raise money, about $200 in a week if they could. On their first day, thanks in part to some local businesses, they took in over $1,000. Much of that raised right here at their school from their classmates.
That's what touched them. You know, being so little and having such big hearts, you know, that they were just, it was just unbelievable to them.
This campaign has really taken off here in Macedonia. Bloodmobiles have been making the rounds, and you can even drop off donations here at the City Hall. There's also a giant card that people are asked to sign to let the victims in Oklahoma City know they're in the thoughts and prayers of people here.
Where can we go to be safe anymore? Do we have to worry about when we go to City Hall or if we go to a government building of some sort that someone's going to try to put a bomb there? So people are identifying with it in that way.
And with a couple of fourth-grade girls who are showing it's not enough to just sit by and watch. In Macedonia, Mike Olszewski, 19 News.
And if you'd like to donate, you still have plenty of time. Here's where you do it. You can send contributions to the Ledgeview School on Shepherd Road in Macedonia.
Other local efforts tonight to help the young victims of the Oklahoma City bombing. Beginning Monday, you can bring toy and book donations to Walden bookstores. The toys and the books will be sent to the children injured in the bombing. You can bring your donations to any Walden Books location. Also, Cleveland Bank One branches will be taking contributions to help with the cost of the funerals for the children killed in the attack. You can make your contribution at any Bank One branch. Well, some scary reports about Disneyland tonight. Some say it was the target of a nerve gas attack, an attack that may have been stopped just in time.
And it was chaos on the streets of Atlanta as an annual spring rite turns violent. More ahead when 19 News at 11 continues.
Was Disneyland the target of a planned nerve gas attack? Tonight, the government says no, but others are saying differently. A Baltimore newspaper reported 2 Japanese men were stopped at Los Angeles International Airport last week. The paper said they may have belonged to a Japanese cult and planned a gas attack at Disneyland. The 2 were supposedly carrying information on how to make sarin. Now, that is the same gas used in the deadly subway attack in Japan a few weeks back. Tonight, though, the Justice Department is saying the entire story simply is not true.
A yearly event in Atlanta got way out of control last night, and this festive spirit was shattered by gunshots. It is called Freaknik, a weekend known as the Black College Students' Spring Break. Thousands of young people have been going to Atlanta for Freaknik for the past 5 years now. However, last night, 2 people were shot, and several businesses were broken into. Atlanta's mayor here blamed the violence not on the partiers, but hoodlums, he calls them, who took advantage of the celebration to cause all that trouble.
Well, have your kids gotten all the shots they need? If you're like many Cleveland families, the answer may be no. That's why the city's health department is trying to help by putting on this immunization fair today. Kids got free shots for things like measles and mumps, plus blood tests for lead poisoning. The city says they're glad to help out, but the main responsibility falls on mom and dad.
There's an important role for parents, and that is to make sure that their children are screened for lead poisoning, make sure that their kids get their shots, and to take responsibility for that, and that the city is there and ready to help.
The health department says up to 64% of the babies in Cleveland do not get all the shots that they need.
Our next story now is about someone who will have big shoes to fill, or should we say big diapers to fill. I've seen this 3 times now. I can't get over this. That's because this newborn is no ordinary baby. In fact, this Portland, Oregon newborn weighed in at a whopping 14 pounds at birth. Hefty Jesse Robert Williams was born by cesarean section on Wednesday. Unfortunately, mom's already grown accustomed to big bundles since her first baby weighed 12 pounds. Mom says because her newborns are so big, she tends not to baby them so much. Doesn't have to. She's got full-grown kids there.
Because they're like 4-year-olds, so they don't need to be babied, I guess.
I had 11-pound babies, and I thought they were big, but this baby looks twice as big.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Hard to believe.
Well, could that dreaded S word be in the forecast for our Sunday? Stay tuned for the chilly details. And it wasn't snow, but hail in Missouri. Look at it coming down. You can see it right there. Dan's in next with his forecast.
And day 1 of the NFL draft is still underway in New York tonight. Find out who got who when Ronnie checks in a little later on.
Well, it is that time of year where you get the rough weather in the Plain States. Harrisonville, Missouri getting pounded by hail. That can be one of the most frightening weather phenomenon, as you can see just from several days ago, April 16th, 1995. Thanks to the magic of video, we even know when it happened. And another lovely sunset for us over Lake Erie. Hope you had the chance to enjoy that. I've seen some of the most beautiful sunsets I've ever seen in my life, right here in good old Cleveland, Ohio, over Lake Erie. Okay, to check our numbers for today. High today 52, below the 60 where we should normally be for this time of year. Low 45, normal 60 and 39. Record high 84 and 85, 23 at 1875. Sunrise at 6:36 tomorrow morning. Sun setting at 8:15 tomorrow evening. Right now, we are cooling off rapidly. You better believe it. 39 degrees, the dew point 36. Humidity is up there. The barometer is rising at, well, 3016. And winds out of the south at 6 miles an hour. Let's check some high temperatures from around the state today. These are highs for the day. Nobody making it into the 60s in Ohio. You had to get down to West Virginia before you saw any 60s. 47 in Akron, Kenton, and 47 in Youngstown as well. We're clearing out now. The bulk of the activity going on down in the southern portion of the United States. We'll go to our 3D view, and we're going to fly down a little bit and eventually get under some of these clouds. Heavier rains for our friends in Oklahoma again today. Just what they did not need with everything that's going on out there. We'll remove the clouds, show you the rougher weather in Texas and Louisiana. We do have tornado watches posted throughout this area tonight. Move on over to Florida, Mississippi, Alabama. Some showers here. Florida looking good as Julie wraps up her vacation. Yes, she'll be back soon. And we have some showers along the Carolina coast. Over Ohio, hey, not looking too bad. Nice and dry for us. We do have some showers over Michigan, over New York State as well, but nice and dry here. We'll add in the clouds, and you'll see that cloud cover down to our south is pretty heavy. Southern Ohio under some high, thin clouds. We should stay clear overnight tonight. Could be kind of frosty in some areas, too. So if you have some tender vegetation, you might want to be mindful of that. And let's take a look at our forecast map for tomorrow. Low pressure is going to swing on up, pull in some clouds and some rain by tomorrow night. Colder air coming in. Some of it could be sleet or snow. My goodness, I hate to say that, but that's the way it is. Here's our forecast for tonight. Clear and cool, low 33. Winds northwest at 10 to 15 tomorrow morning. Bright and brisk. About 35 degrees as you head out to church for that Sunday morning jog. Later in the day tomorrow, look for the clouds to increase. A high about 55, 5 below where we should be. And then tomorrow night, some rain coming in. The colder air coming in too. Could see some sleet and some snow is possible. Nothing heavy though. Low 34 for tomorrow night. Extended forecast shaping up like this. Of course, tomorrow we already told you about. Monday, some showers could be hanging around. High of only 43 on Monday. We don't like that. And then Tuesday, some showers still hanging around, but cooler temperatures, but sunshine drying out by midweek. So, hate to tell you that, guys, but you need that anorak.
Hey, it could be worse.
Is that what they call it?
That's what they call it.
Okay.
Thanks,
We're going to
Dan.
need it. Thanks. Well, big day for pro football teams across the country. It is draft day.
Cleveland Browns are putting a former Ohio State Buckeye on the team. Ronnie's got all the draft action. Up next.
The theory is true, y'all. What goes up must come down. Just ask the Browns. Coach Bill Belichick earlier today thought that Penn State's talented tight end Kyle Brady would be ripe for the picking in the NFL draft. But the New York Jets jumped ahead of the game, choosing Brady 9th, and that forced the Browns to trade their 10th overall pick to the San Francisco 49ers for the 30th selection in the NFL draft, and the Niners' 3rd and 4th round picks this year, as well as their 1st round selection next year. So where'd the Browns go? Down to Columbus. They selected this fellow, number 84, Craig Powell, a 24-year-old linebacker from Youngstown. And according to the Browns, Powell wasn't their first choice, but he was their best choice once Brady went to the Big Apple. And it's not a bad one. You can consider this guy can be good. Powell is fast. He's a linebacker. I mean, he's only going to get better. He has 43 solo tackles last season, 71. Not bad for some personal achievements. Yes, he is a linebacker that is fit for the Browns schemes just fine. Another level?
Well, I think, Craig's got an awful lot of talent, and, like every other player, he has to make the adjustment from college football to pro football. He's a junior coming out early, so he's young. He's got a great future ahead of him.
You got 2 number 1s next year. It's a highly marketable commodity in our business. You can package the 2 and move up significantly, get a player, do any number of things. So we're not married to the 2 choices and they're set and granted. They're not. We have a lot of maneuverability.
Can you say Warren Sapp? Forget about it. Hey, look, Powell wasn't the only Buckeye to be drafted in the 1st round. OSU sent 3 players to the NFL in the 1st class. Leading the Packers, Joey Galloway, instead of watching the draft on television, he decided to play a little hoop. And guess what? He scored big. Seattle picked him 8th overall.
I wasn't surprised. They've been guessing that I'd be 8th, for the past couple weeks. I was hoping that I didn't go any lower than 8th, and I didn't, and I'm very thankful.
So the biggest Buckeye of them all slipped in the 1st round, number 78. You see him, Pancake Man. I'm talking Corey Stringer. He's an offensive lineman. I tell you what, he was selected by the Minnesota Vikings, the 24th overall pick. However, the man of the hour was this guy, number 32, Kajana Carter. He's from Westerville, Ohio. That's right, folks. He was selected in the 1st round by the Cincinnati Bengals. They traded up, and they got the big prize. So here's the top 10 draft, and Carter is number 1. And look at the names there. Look at Steve Air McNair out of Houston. I told you he was going to go high, folks. I didn't want him to go 3rd, though. Kerry Collins out of Carolina rounding out the top 5. Then when you look at the 2nd half, look at that Joey Galloway. He is number 8. Then you've got the New York Jets, Kyle Brady, and San Francisco took our pick and made it out to J.J. Stokes. All right, ready to take it to the hoop. The playoffs are set for the Cavs as far as they're concerned. Although they end the regular season on Sunday, they will face the New York Knicks in the opening round. Now, Friday, they won their 2nd game in a row, beating Milwaukee. But John Hot Rod Williams says, hey, Ronnie, you know what? The New York Knicks are the team to beat. And John's looking forward to them right away because New York is the team.
New York as a team is the team you want to beat. It's the team that went to the Eastern Conference Final last year. And it still is the team you still have to beat right now.
Folks, hey, let's look at that playoff schedule. There it is. You've got the Knicks and the Cavaliers. Game 1 Thursday at 7 o'clock at Madison Square Garden. And then game 2 and the other games, 3, 4, and 5, yet to be determined as far as the release of time. All right, on to some more hoop today. It was the United Center, and I'm talking about Michael Jordan with the jump shot. Number 45 turns it around and says, hey, take it. Oh, man, you know what? That was almost like Dave guarding Michael Jordan. This is a stupid thing to do, Dave. Then you had Scottie Pippen, who had the slam, but Michael Jordan and his team wins it 116-110 over the Charlotte Hornets. Michael had 19 points. I'll tell you what, the Bulls would win by 16. Tony Kukoc and Scottie Pippen did their damage, 19 and 17 points respectively. And also the Denver Nuggets. They might make it to the playoffs. They played today against Seattle and won 130. Golden State, that is, 130-129 in overtime.
All right.
Sports.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Thank you, Ronnie. Well, some big-name journalists are visiting the North Coast this weekend. The Cleveland chapter of the National Association of Black Journalists has its regional convention right here in Cleveland. Journalists from over 5 states are here, and Chicago journalist Diane Burns was here talking about ethics in the media. You might remember her. She's a former Cleveland newspaper reporter. And also, CNN reporter Mark Watts was also on hand here in Cleveland today to lend some advice about the business of media. A job fair was also held as a part of this annual convention. Well, that's going to do it for us here at 11 o'clock.
Be sure to join us tomorrow for 19 News at 6. Have a great night. Good night.
Good night.